What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I am going to be doing a PKing guide. Now this is just going to be like melee PKing or range PKing, like single style PKing. This isn't going to be like Brinning, NH or anything like that. I'm not that great at NH or anything like that, but I would say I'm pretty decent at like melee PKing, particularly DH PKing or maybe even like Bandos PKing. But there's gonna be more like starting out the video. I'm gonna do more like for like the newer people who are trying to get into PKing, and then towards the end of the video, I will do some more like advanced things that I do, or what I consider a little bit more advanced. For anyone that is just trying to like pick up new tips and tricks or anything like that. And then also, if you want to learn something new, or you feel like there's something that I'm doing just by watching like my PKing videos or anything like that, and you kind of want to learn how to do it, just shoot me a PM in game on any of my accounts, and then of course I'll help you out. I'm always down to help out people PKing, because then that builds up the PKing community, and then also I can PK more, because right now there's only like a handful of us that really PK, and to be quite honest with you, sometimes it gets boring just fighting the same person over and over and over again, because you kind of just know their style and how they PK. But we're gonna get into some of the basics. And then also I'm going to just randomly show up on the screen like clips of me doing whatever I'm talking about, so then you guys can see it visually on what I'm doing and all that stuff. Okay, so jumping into the first thing that I'm going to talk about, and that is going to be hotkeys. If you don't know what hotkeys are, they're keys that you touch and then it does like a certain action. So if you go into your toolbar right here, the little wrench down here in the corner, and click on the one that says F1, these are all your hotkey settings, so you can like customize them to whatever buttons that you want. I'm going to show you guys what mine are. My spec is F1, my inventory is F2, my prayer is F3, my spellbook is F4, and then switching to like the armor is F5. I would just put it on there just in case for later on, because you can like take off gear and stuff like that for them to hit on your venge. I really don't do it much. Sometimes I do it. Might be something I need to work on to become a better PKer, but the reason why you want hotkeys is so you can switch between all the different ones without having to use your mouse. You see, like I'm moving my mouse way over here, and I'm clicking on my hotkeys, and it's switching between them. So it comes into a good effect when you want to use your vengeance. You can go right here. When you want to spec, you can go from here to here. And yeah, and then that's a big thing in Bridding too. If you want to learn how to be a Brit PKer, you really have to get familiar and comfortable using hotkeys, because that's pretty much all that it is. To switch your prayers, to switch your spells. All I'm going to talk about is my inventory setup and why I have it set up the way that I do. Also, you could switch this up a little bit if you want. Everyone sets up their like potions and stuff like that differently, but this is pretty much what I do. But all the stuff inside of here is pretty much what you'll need to melee PK or DH PK. So all the items I would at least have for the most part. You can switch up some of them, like your spec weapon, but the order of it you guys can do however you want. So I have 2 super combat potions, my Venge Runes up here, my restores, my Qualm Bomb, the teleport, 2 brews, and then the rest Rocktail, and then of course either your spec weapon, whatever your spec weapon may be. In this case, for this inventory setup, I'm using the Armadale God Sword and the Granite Maul. And then also if you're DH PKing, your axe, or if you want to use like a C maul into G maul, you could do that too, whatever you want. But I would recommend having your spec weapon in this slot, the second row, second from the bottom. And then the reason for that is when you click over, you're really close to your spec right there. And then also if you right click and hit wield, you are literally right on your spec weapon. So that's what I would recommend. You can also like get better at where your clicks are, so you could be like right there. Now that's the best thing to do, so you can spec fast and all that kind of stuff. Then the next thing I'm going to talk about is eating, now that we are on the inventory. So for very beginners that are just starting out trying to learn how to PK, or just not that great at it, I would recommend eating around like 55, more like 60 HP side, like 1 Rocktail, so you get your hit points up. Don't really worry about safing too much is what I would say when you're new, because you don't want to die a lot. Like dying's not fun. That's going to make it so you don't want to PK at all. So just keep your HP kind of high if you have to. I mean, if you're dying a lot for some reason, but you're still grinding it out, definitely eat more. Like, who cares if someone calls you a safer or whatever they say about you? who gives a shit? Like, you're just trying to learn how to PK, and then the only way to learn how to PK is by doing it. But at the same time, you don't want to like lose your bank PKing or anything like that. So if you got to eat up, eat up. The worst thing that's going to happen is people are going to call you a safer and all that stuff, or they're going to safe themselves, which just makes it harder to kill them. But then at the end, if you still kill them, then like congrats to you, because they're sitting at like 80, 90 HP like you are, and you still kill them. So it's a rewarding thing too. Sometimes it's fun, but definitely as you get better at PKing, try not to save as much, because then you'll get more kills if you don't save and you're actually better than the other person. But now let's talk about some combo eating, and also I'm going to show an example up on the screen of this. So what combo eating is eating like a combo, like more than one thing in a row. So the best one to do is Rocktail Brew Quam Bomb. You see how fast that was? And it gets you a lot of hit points. Then also you could do like Quam Bomb Brew, and then Rocktail Brew. It's not, you gotta wait a second after you do it. But Rocktail Brew, there we go. Or Rocktail Quam Bomb. And then again, after you drink a brew or two, restore. Now if you just do like the Rocktail to brew, restore once, you know, to get yours back up, and then pop back up. So then that way your stats are all the way back up. Now you could do like 3, I think it is. 1, 2, let's just go ahead and test this. 3, you see how our stats are down. And then you can drink 1 restore and it'll bring you back up. I think 4 is when you're going to need to drink 2 restores, I'm pretty sure. But honestly, you should never drink even 3 brews in a row while you're fighting somebody. Max you'll do is like 2, but that just depends. So that's how you like combo eat, and then I'm sure there's probably like an example of it up on the screen for you guys, so you guys can see it in an actual PKing clip. But that's pretty much all you need to know about eating, and then like your inventory setup. Those are like the basics. The next thing we're talking about is vengeance. Now talking about vengeance. So for people that don't know what vengeance is, it is a spell, and what it does is when an opponent hits on you, it does like a certain amount of the damage that they hit on you back to them. So vengeance is going to become like your best friend while PKing, especially melee PKing, because you could do like sick combos with it. So like you could venge, they hit on you, and then you can AGS hit them for like a 70, and the vengeance is hitting. So instead of it being a 70 spec, it really is like it's 80, 90 spec, and that's really hard for them to out eat it. But we'll talk about more like the basics on kind of how to do that in specking. So for vengeance, again, you kind of want to do it whenever they're going to hit, because it hits back on them. You want to venge either when you're going to spec, or when you plan on going for your axe hit if you're in DH, or anything like that, because it just adds on to the more damage that you could possibly do. So like if you're at like 50 hit points and you want to risk it for the biscuit and axe, put your venge on, because if they hit you for like a 40, it's going to hit like a 20 back, and then you can axe for like a 60 or 50. Instead of it being a 50 or 60, you know, now it becomes like a 70, like 80, you know, so on and so forth. So that's what you guys want to do. The biggest thing that I would probably say though for a new PKer is to use an AGS, and like Rune, Dragon, Void, whatever you want to use, even in DH. If you want to start out in DH, go for it. Just expect to die a good amount as a new PKer, because it's going to happen. But learn from your deaths. Like that's another thing. Just like learn from your deaths. Don't be like, oh shit, I died. Oh, I died again. Oh, I died again. No, be like, oh, why did I die? Did I die because I didn't eat at the right time? Did I die because of this, because of that, you know? So just learn from like your deaths too, is what I would say. But for specking, I would say always spec for the most part when you are avenged. Now, again, don't stick to this plan, but do it the best you can. Because like of course, if you're fighting somebody and they're at like 50 hit points and you hit like a 40 whip, like go in for your spec, because they're at like 10 HP. And even if they combo eat at 10 HP, they would probably get up to like 75 hit points like really quick. And that's if they're a really good PK or two and like know how to combo eat and can do it quick. So you could still hit a 75 with your AGS like easily. I've hit 75s plenty of times with them. I've hit 76s with them. So definitely do that. But again, like I would definitely be venged and then go in for your spec. And then what I would say right now, I'm going to talk more about this later, but try to time your venge when you're going to do this so that the person is hitting on you as you venge, because then if they hit, then you can go into a spec. I'll show an example of this probably if I can find one. I don't know if I have a clip of it, but I'll show that for you guys of me specking up on the screen here for you, so you guys can kind of see it. But again, this is kind of like more like an advanced-ish thing that like will come with the more you PK. It's more like just like a timing thing, which I'm going to talk about later. The last like basic thing that I'm going to talk about is know the max hits. So let's use like for an example, if you're in like Rune and the person's using an AGS, like you got to know that their max hit is probably somewhere around like 75. Like you don't have to be exact with it, but knowing the max hit is good so you know when to eat. Because if you're at, let's say, like 65 hit points and they whip out an AGS, like go ahead and just drink a brew. Like who cares what they say about like safing again? Like you don't want to die. So they can easily hit a 65 with an AGS. So just drink a brew. So if they do hit the 65, then you're safe. You're not dead. Like who cares what they say? That just means you're a better PKer than, in my opinion. The only time that I think like safing becomes a big deal is if like you're just sitting at 80 hit points the whole fight. Like to me, that's safing. Not like, oh, if I'm about to spec and you eat, you know, like to me that's not really safing. I don't know about other people's perspective on it, but that's just mine. Like if I am fighting somebody and I whip out my AGS and I hit them for like an 80 but they don't die, like okay, you ate, you know, like whatever. I need to do better on my PKing part to combo you or sneak in the AGS spec and stuff like that. But we're not going to get into that, but just know like the max hits is pretty much the thing here, and then eat accordingly. So like again, if somebody is at very low HP with DH, they can easily hit like a 90 and 80. So eat up to like 80 or so, you know? And if they hit the 80, there's nothing you can do about it. Because again, PKing, there is a little bit of skill to it, but also there's luck. Because you got to hit, you got to have the RNG, and you can't tell the game when to hit for you or what to hit or anything like that. So there's a little bit of luck to it, remember that. And also, there is some skill to it as well. But from here on out, we're going to go into some more advanced stuff. So if you're one of those PKers that wanted to learn some new tips or anything like that, this next part of the video will probably help you out. I don't know, we'll see. So the last things that I will be talking about is timing, how to use the Granite Maul, and then just briefly a little bit more on like eating. So for timing, what I mean is when you want to time like your specs, when you want to time your axe hits, all that stuff. So we're going to use the max hit dummy, and then also throughout this I'll try to overlay some clips so you guys can see examples of it. But when you're hitting, see it takes about 1, 2, 3 seconds in between the hit, right? So what you want to do is in your head kind of count those 3 seconds out before you axe or anything else. Because like, watch. So you go hit 1, 2, boom. You see how pretty quick that was? Now watch if I do it right as I hit. So I'm going to hit, boom, 1, 2, see how it's delayed? So that's what you want to try to time out, especially even with your specs, like on everything, you want to try to time it out. So on the 1, 2 spec, and then that's pretty quick, you see? So that's just something that you got to like think about when you're trying to axe and everything, because you don't want that delay in there. If you have that delay in there, they're going to be able to eat and everything like that. Next thing, we'll talk about the Granite Maul real quick. So for inventory for Granite Maul, if you're using DH, I like to put my axe here, well, switch to my axe up top and the maul down below. So it's right there for the spec. So what you're going to do is, one, be low HP, so you can hit high with your axe, and then fully just commit to doing the spec. So if you think, all right, I'm going to axe and G-maul here on my next axe hit, just commit to it. So time it out here. So you hit 1, 2, axe, and then straight into G-maul like that. So you switch over, you double click your spec with G-maul, and it'll hit. And you want it to stack like that. You see how all the numbers stack together? Now, if you don't get it to stack like that, then that just means you're not doing it quick enough, or your timing is off a little bit. So again, you just want to time out the ags. You hit 1, 2, boom, click right here, click G-maul and just double. You don't even have to click back on the person either. I know in like RuneScape, I think you have to. but on here you don't. You can just click your spec and then the granite maul will go off. Now, when you get a little more advanced here, what you could do is use like AGS or calls or anything like that, and you can do the same thing. So now you can do an AGS spec, switch over into the Gmaul, and you get it to stack like that. And I've stacked like a 90 something before with the AGS to Gmaul hit, and it's pretty effective. You can do it with claws too if you want, chaotic maul, whatever you want pretty much. So it's definitely pretty effective. And then a few more things about eating. What I like to do is when I'm at like 55 HP, I'll drink a brew and then a restore, so I don't save. You can do that. You can do the Quambon. But also what I like to do is if the other person is venged and I'm around like 55, maybe 60 hit points, I will drink a brew, but I won't drink the restore, so then my stats are brewed down. So when I hit on his venge, I have more of a chance of hitting less, and that's what you want. You don't want to hit high on the venge, you want to hit low. So those are pretty much the tips I have. If you guys want me to make like even more in-depth one, because there's a lot more stuff that I feel like I can go over, just let me know in the comments down below. But now I'm about to go into a PK commentary, explaining the best that I can in an actual fight on what I'm doing and all that stuff. And then after that, I'm going to just show a whole bunch of clips with music in like slow motion so you guys can see all of the stuff that I was doing throughout this video, like all the tips that I gave you and all that. Try to commentate the best I can. I normally don't talk too much when I PK because I like to focus. See, even like right there, see, like even I save, like, see what I'm saying? But he was about to spec. What the heck? He is venged, I guess. He could have KO'd me right there. I got pretty lucky. But as you can see, I didn't drink my super combat because I don't want to hit too high if I can help it, because he's venged. You see, like right there, you see how we hit at the same time? I'm just going to click off so we don't hit at the same time. Dude, why is this dude moving? So he's trying to time up his stuff so like I hit at the same time as him and stuff. Dude. But see, the problem when you brew down is like you don't really hit nearly as much. But it's okay, because I'd rather do that than hit and then die to his vengeance. Dude, why can I hit on this dude though on the reels? He might go for... Nope, he didn't. It's like right here. Dragon Fire Shield spec him, hopefully. Nice. Let's go for our AGS. Oh! Oh, you're so lucky, dude. Don't tell me this dude underneath is going to try to claw spec me or something. Oh, I wasn't even venged. Venged now? Oh, I had 6 seconds. He didn't even hit, so it's okay. So like right there, you see how I ate up with his axe, and I went for revenge. Just so you don't die, and then you can also hit back with the vengeance. But now I should have vengeance back, so I need to get ready for a nice venge combo here. He's about to axe me. No. He has vengeance. Hopefully break it. Nice. See now, what the heck? So I'd be careful sitting on this low of HP. Because I know he has that AGS. I mean, he doesn't have spec, but... Dude, this dude's wrecking me, and he doesn't even have curses. What the heck? Dude, what the actual shit? Make sure I'm potted back up. Oh, hit on him. What the heck? Go for it. Dang it, I'm like out too. What the? Oh, I was gonna try to risk it for you guys. That was just like, I died because like I had no food, but I just wanted to risk it. Dang it. But that's pretty much it. I mean, this is a decent little fight commentary right there. So make sure you guys subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll see y'all next time.